3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
Welcome to SOCCER in the States Football. Here are your hosts, the Taco Slayer Jorge and MLS Card Guy Chris.
Hey, welcome back to the SOCCER in the States podcast. Chris, we started with 47, but only 4 remain.
Wow.
And the CONCACAF Newcomer of the Year, Owen Goal, continues to push for the Golden Boot in all the League's Cup dramatics. But before we get into all that stuff, Chris, the MLS Card Guy, is here with me, as always. How are you, bud?
I'm tired, man. It was a late night last night. The lightning delay didn't get started till 10 p.m. Got the game in after midnight. I didn't get home till 3 a.m. It was a rough one for sure. But we're gonna fight through this. Speaking of own goal, by the way, some crazy finishes from own goal.
Yeah,
I've never seen some of the own goals that I've seen in this tournament.
Like 100% Wonder Kid. If you aren't scouting this guy on SOCCER data right now, what is wrong with you?
Gotta be banging
Completely.
hundreds every week.
100%. Like, unarguably, the greatest header I have seen of all time.
Yeah.
From Farfan.
You can't even argue that. Yeah.
You can't even argue it.
100%.
The power behind that header. Look, at the end of the day, you get one shot to assist a Messi goal, to get an assist from Messi, right? And he took a shot.
Yeah.
He shot a shot. He slid in those DMs. He was like, "Hey, Messi, what's up? Let me slide in real quick and do this thing." So, Wonder Kid, Owen Goal, Golden Boot of the Year of the millennia, right there.
Was it worth
He's the
it?
guy.
That's the question. Was it worth it?
It has to be, right, dude?
This
for the
means
rest
they
of
don't
his
have
life,
to travel anymore now. You know,
the travel. Obviously, travel. If you travel,
Yeah.
you lose. That's it. That's it. What's
That's
the
it.
motto in the MLS? If you play at home, you're gonna win. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
dude.
No,
But
I think it was big brain play. I think he just outthought everybody there.
look, at the end of the day, right? He's gonna be able to tell his friends and family for the rest of the life that he put in a goal off of Messi's foot. That's
Is he
it.
gonna want to tell people that though? Like he didn't play on Messi's team, you know?
They don't need to know that. What are they gonna do? Look at the box score? No, they're just gonna be like, "Oh, you scored a Messi goal. That's incredible! Wow!" Never gonna have to pay for a drink in his life ever again, ever.
In Miami, maybe. Not in Dallas. In Dallas, he's got to play
Shh.
double the price of everybody else.
We don't read the fine print here at SOCCER in the States, but there's not much going on. There's just Leagues Cup. It's at the end. Leagues Cup was a lot more fun when there was games on every night. But like I said, there's only 4 teams left. We had dramatics. We had all that. I don't think SOCCER really dropped any news for us, so this is going to be probably a short episode because there goes half the stuff I want to talk about. You know what I'm saying? But let's get right into it. Chris, did you watch any of these games? Did you watch any of the highlights? Anything that stood out to you? Where do you want to go? There were 4 games.
Yeah.
Where do you want to start?
Let's start with our guy Trippin' B, who has
no.
been crying for the last few days here, and rightfully so. I mean, Miami just kind of whipped them, you know. And I feel like I don't know if Miami's just getting better and better, or if they're like actually able to practice now, and they're like, hey, maybe we can do this to help things out. But like, is this team gonna make the playoffs? I mean, I hate to say this, right? Because they're dead last. They're dead last. They're almost mathematically eliminated. But is this team going to make the playoffs?
Okay. First, mathematically, it is very, very unlikely for them to make the playoffs.
It's going to be
Is
tough.
it?
They're going
from
to have
what
to win
we-
like all of them.
Yeah, they literally have to win out basically the last 10, 11 games of the season. I mean, can they do it? From everything that we've seen from Leagues Cup, I was like, if you have Messi on your team, you can do whatever you want. Like, anything could happen. Which, granted, this was the only game where this one maybe Cruz Azul, but he didn't even really play in that game. That like they just dominated the entire game. Charlotte just didn't. They bopped him over the head. It just at the beginning, I think Charlotte came to play, but they just didn't have it, man. They fell apart really, really easy, and then Robert Taylor and Messi wasn't even like a big part of this game. This was like probably the first game where it didn't really run through Messi. Like, yeah, he got his goal. Yeah, he did it, but it was everybody else, right? they almost like overcorrected what every other team did and just completely knocked him out of the
It's
game.
just
And
like,
just everybody
no.
else is like, all right,
They're like, this guy will not beat us. Everybody else is probably gonna beat us, but like this guy won't, and he still
Yeah.
beat them. He still
And
got a goal.
it's hard though, because it's one of those things where you want to go, oh, the quality of Messi and MLS defenses and rosters just don't allow for like the quality defense that's going to stop Messi. And like Messi's going to do this wherever he goes.
True,
And
but he's not gonna face college kids from last year who make $86,000 a year.
also that is also very true. That is, I'm not denying that, right? I'm not saying that's not fact, but there's a lot more factors to it. And like this is a good example because for the last couple games, there's been so many just weird bad calls that have skewed Miami's way to the point where like now they're like too afraid to touch him again. But they're too afraid to touch anybody. Very early on, Awful got a penalty, which just kicked off the entire thing. And then for the rest of the game, they were too scared to step up to anybody. The Yedlin goal, if you go watch the replays, Yedlin in the box, at the end of the box, stood there and had seconds to just pick out his pass to Robert Taylor for the goal. And then it happens again at the end of the game where they just like, they're too afraid to approach these guys in the box because they know they're going to get a soft pen. So they just let them sit and pick out the pass for an easy goal. It is insane. Messi's going to win everything. Fuck it. I'll say it. I don't care anymore. Just get it over with. Push me 4 years in the future. Over it.
So going back to my original question, they've got 12 games to play, and they're 12 points back of DC.
Jesus.
They're 14 back of Chicago, and they are 17 back of Atlanta. Can they catch anybody?
Chicago's up in the air. Atlanta, maybe they've had time to recoup. They've had time to get everybody healthy. They gutted their defense, but maybe they can kind of get everybody on the
I mean 17 points in 12 games to make up. Like you got to be pretty bad as Atlanta to give them an opportunity to make that ground up.
But who's to say they don't win out? All the rest of these teams have a case to like games that they can drop here and there. They don't all have Messi that can come in and score a winner at any moment that he feels like. That is the catalyst to all this. It's like, yeah, but who's more likely to drop points? Someone with Messi or without Messi?
Well, let me ask you this question. How many points does Miami drop the rest of the season?
I would have to look at their schedule.
So here's their schedule. They play after this tournament gets done. They immediately go into U.S. Open Cup semifinal at Cincinnati. So
which is a hard
good
place
luck
to play.
there. Thank goodness they weren't playing at Pittsburgh Riverhounds because Lionel Messi could not have handled that. Then immediately on the weekend, they're in New York at New York Red Bulls, and then they host Nashville. Then they go to LAFC. Then they host Kansas City at Atlanta, host Toronto at Orlando, host New York City
losing that one
at Chicago, which is going to be a massive game.
Jesus.
Cincinnati at home, and then at Charlotte. So they have 6 more games on the road. How many points do they drop from those?
See, that'll be the interesting thing, because if you go back to that FC Dallas and Miami game, which was right after the last episode that we recorded, so it may be a little further away in our minds, but that 4-4 thriller, Miami was going to lose that game.
Yeah.
Like FC Dallas came out,
FC
they dominated.
Dallas had them.
Like if it wasn't for just a bunch of mistakes and own goals once again,
right?
Because there was a lot of them. Like it didn't look good. They got frustrated. They got flustered. They played in the heat away. Like they didn't really show. But then again, Messi just did what he did. Got a couple free kick goals. Just like it's so hard to count him out. But I think like especially the away games too. Out of any of the games that are like the hardest, their away games are the ones that are going to be extra spicy. So yeah, there is.
Think about that though. Like that game against Dallas, they won, right? In MLS, that's a draw. You just lost penalties. 2 points.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like it's gonna the real test is gonna be those games on the road, which really
they haven't played anybody on the road except Dallas, and they only drew that game.
Yeah,
and now they go to Philly. Are they gonna win the semi? Are they gonna beat Philly?
Dude,
are they gonna advance? They're gonna advance past Philly. Because they could get through on PKs again.
I don't know. But I am so excited for that game though.
That's gonna be a fun game.
Philly and Messi in Subaru Park in Philadelphia. They don't play around.
No.
It is gonna be a
Philly's
very
getting
chippy...
in form. They're getting in shape.
That's true. And Philly's getting to the point where they are looking really nice. Even though Querétaro, they took them for a ride in this game in the quarters. But yeah, it'll be really interesting. I think that honestly, that game's going to come down to referees and how the game is refereed, because you have so many personalities. Like both these teams are really gritty. You're gonna have Jose Martinez, you're gonna have Gazdag and Jack Elliott, and like dude, I feel like it's going to be one of those games, almost like the Orlando game, where it's going to be very physical, very tough. It's going to be very heated, very flared.
But
I'd
it'll
be
be
surprised.
on the road.
Yeah, and Philly's a tough place to play, man. Especially
It
like you
really
said,
is.
it is a tough place to play, and that place sold out on a weekend under the lights is definitely incredible. So it'll be fun to watch. It'll be good to see. I don't know, man. Especially now that LAFC got knocked out too. Miami has to make it to the final, right? It's the only way. This is the way.
I don't know, man. Monterey Philly looks real good. Looks real good. My call's looking decent. Philly's also played the last 6 games at home, which is interesting. They've played Guitarro twice, beat them both times. They drew Red Bulls, but won on PKs. They drew DC, but won on PKs. Then they beat Tijuana and NYCFC. They haven't lost at home. I'm still going back.
Was it Orlando? Like at the beginning of the year?
Orlando.
Let's
March
go!
2023 is the last time they lost.
Guess who was at that game? I was.
Yeah. Wow. You might have to go. You might have to go and support Messi just so they can get through.
So basically what you're saying is I had to fly to Philly so that I could make sure that Messi gets knocked out of Leagues Cup?
No, make sure he gets through the Leagues Cup. If you don't
Why
go,
would I want?
Out.
Why would I want that? I don't want that. No, if I go, Messi's gonna win. That's the problem.
No, if you go, you're bad luck for Philly because the last time you were there, they lost.
Yeah, I don't want to be bad luck. I don't want Messi to win anything.
So then don't go.
I'm not gonna go.
That's all right, you heard it here first. Miami's going down.
Miami is going down because I'm not going to the game. That was my master plan this entire time.
100% accurate. There is no questioning it. This is the way.
Okay, here's a question for you. Does Jose Martinez get a red card on Messi?
Ooh.
What's the over-under on a Jose Martinez on a nasty tackle to Messi?
On just a nasty tackle? I think it's almost a guarantee he gets a yellow card in this game.
For sure.
Almost a guarantee. I mean, I'd say like 9 times out of 10, he's getting a yellow card in this game. I don't know about a red. I feel like he's like, he plays on the edge, but he's so smart, you know? Like he baits stuff out of people.
Sometimes.
That's
true,
he can be reckless, but like he's also very like he knows exactly what he's doing.
I will say, like watching him this year, he's a little less reckless. I will say he's getting a little older, he's getting a little smarter. They aren't as nasty, but yeah, he's still just arguing with people. In this Querétaro game, man, from the very beginning, he was dancing, he was getting in people's faces, he was pushing people around. It's just, you love.
It's more like Felipe Martins now,
and
kind of older and knows what he's doing more.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a revenge game for Damian Lowe. Damian Lowe revenge game?
Damian Lowe revenge angle. No one saw that coming.
He's such a hothead, dude. He almost got in a lot of trouble this game. The referee actually went up to Andre Blake at one point and was like, "Yo, you need to go tell this guy to calm down." He was just dude, like he was getting heated. That's another one where if he plays this game in a revenge game, it's gonna be spicy. He's gonna be in his head. It's a recipe for disaster. That's the thing. Going on that conversation where like I hate that every episode is just a Messi episode. But dude, it's just it's in the air. It's going up against Messi on both sides. Whether you're playing against him or with him, like that is your one chance. You know the entire world is watching. Like everybody is playing to the next level, and we don't know what we're gonna get. So I'm tired of talking about Messi. Messi's gonna win everything. I'm gonna be very upset.
You realize we're gonna talk about Messi for the next like 3 years. That's
I know,
pretty much just going to be it.
but don't get it twisted.
Till
I'm not
Mbappe
that.
comes, and then we're going to talk about Mbappe.
Oh, and Neymar, Mbappe, Neymar. Come on, it's tearing up the MLS.
Neymar's going to Saudi Arabia, my guy.
All right, we'll see. We'll see.
Not happening. Orlando is not getting Neymar. They did
that.
so badly with Pato that they can't have another Brazilian ever again.
But we had Kaká though. That's the thing, right? We got all the Brazilians. We get all the Brazilians here. We used to have Brazilian owners.
You messed up the last one though, so you can't get another one.
It's because our owners sucked, and that's why we got that NFL money, baby.
Why.
That's my thing. All right, let me ask you this. I was talking to someone else about this the other day. In what world? Because the whole league right now is looking at this whole Messi thing and like just drooling at the idea of just bringing in a player like that and just all the money and all of the business that it brings in.
Yeah.
If you are the owner, because you're kind of like involved in this club, you're the next door neighbor, right? You're the owner of your own football club, and you're watching this happen. Like, would you not just like shot to the ego, open up your wallet, and be like, "All right, bet." Like right now, these two organizations are fighting for the eyeballs of the state of Florida for the next 4 years leading up to the World Cup. Like,
no one cares about the state of Florida. Come on,
everybody cares about the state of Florida. We're everybody's favorite meme. All right.
Everybody's favorite. I'm glad you added the word meme there.
Yeah,
I thought you were going to say everybody's favorite, and I was going to have to argue with you.
Everybody thinks that we're the weirdos, but they would be nothing without us. All right, we drive the entertainment in everybody's lives. Okay,
that might be true. Maybe.
I'm saying, y'all need us.
The entertainment.
Y'all need us for the happiness. Okay,
don't underestimate the entertainment value.
Exactly, which is why the Wilfs are going to open up the wallets and bring a massive star back to Orlando.
It's not going to be Neymar. It's going to be Mbappe.
Could you imagine?
It's going to be Mbappe playing in 90-degree heat in Florida in August. It's going to be great.
Yeah,
and we're going to bring where card values are going to skyrocket because Mbappe is going to shoot 100 every single night.
Oh, and don't forget, with the Brazilian connection, we're just going to bring Marcelo back from Argentina because, yikes. If you know, you know.
He's old.
If you know, you know. Shout out to that guy at the end of Marcelo Stomp. Rest in peace.
That one guy.
Woo! That one guy.
That was bad.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm actually mad you brought that up.
I'm sorry.
My leg hurts now just thinking about that one.
That's why I wasn't trying to go into too much detail. I was like, I'll throw it out there in like the etherverse, and I was like, if you get it, you get it. If you know, you know, because that's a terrible thing. Totally unintentional. Don't go after the guy, but very, very, very sad to see. Very, very sad.
Yeah, very sad. You hate to see it.
We do hate to see it, but we did. I'm tired of talking to Messi. I'm moving on. We talked about Philly and Querétaro a little bit. How sick would it have been? Even though, like, I think we all had Philly winning this game right now, but Querétaro was on this like magic run. Like, Querétaro is not a good team. They're not good in Mexico. They're never good. And they came over here and they kind of went on a little magic run. That's what the cup is about, right? That's what these tournaments are about. There's always an underdog.
They lost like 5-1 to Philly in the group stage.
Doesn't matter. They still got to the quarters. They got a lot further than a lot of other people looking at you, Club America.
I mean, that's true. They do further than a lot of other people.
Yeah, looking at you, Pachuca. Like, come on. There's a lot of teams that didn't make it. Of all the Mexican teams that didn't make it, because there is only one left, Querétaro was almost that team. And it would have been great to see.
My question is, why did they put teams in the same bracket that played each other? Like, normally the World Cup, you put them on opposite sides so they can only meet in the final. But these guys met in the quarterfinals. What's that all about?
I think it comes down to the whole like 3-team group. I think it's just it's like the lopsidedness of teams between the MLS and Mexico. There's just way more MLS teams than there is Mexican teams. And that it throws everything for a loop. Like why and that's going back to if Orlando and Miami both won their groups, why are they facing each other and immediately in the round of 32? Like that it doesn't make sense. So like I just think the matching and the seeding was a little weird. And I mean it can get worked on. Like it went over like it'll be interesting to see how they do the seeding next season. Like, are they going to base it off results from the Leagues Cup, or are they going to base it off the prior season's results like they did the first year? Are they gonna have some games in Mexico finally, or even just group games in Mexico, and then have all the knockouts like back in the U.S. Whatever, like Deuce. It'll be interesting to see what they do, but
I
I don't
still
I
like
don't
the
think it's going
bubble
anywhere.
format. Like, just play it all in one spot. You know,
I love. Well, shout out to it
solves
was
so
just the
many
anniversary of MLS's back tournament, and I saw
problems.
all the clips and everybody was posting everything, and I was like, such a magical moment in time
It
where
was at
the
Disney. It
world
had to
went.
be magical.
It was the most magical place on earth. What's up?
It's true.
Pay everybody more money. Shout out. But I agree. Like ever since you said that, like even when I was editing the last show and stuff like that, and listening to it, I was like, God, that's such a good idea. It's like, why doesn't this happen more often? It'd be so fun. It'd be so fun.
I mean, it definitely gets stale for the people in that city, like going to a game every single night. Like, I get that,
I guess, yeah.
but maybe have like 4 like regional centers. You know, like
I have seen that too. Yep.
play it in like Orlando, Philly, LA, and Kansas City or something.
Gotta
And
have
then
in Texas.
you
You gotta have
gotta,
something in Texas.
yeah, whatever. However you want to do it, it doesn't matter. But like that way, yeah, you have to travel some, but it's not like you have to travel every single game because like that's
Right.
a little ridiculous. That it's like just fully home and away.
No, yeah, I agree. That would be cool too. Do like hubs for like the groups and stuff, and like maybe like early rounds, and then that's what the NCAA tournament does now. Don't
Right.
they?
Yeah.
They have
And
like
then, yeah. Well, the other thing with the NCAA tournament is like you either have to win or you're out. So like this, you could like penalize teams that finish second, right? Like the second place team has to travel, whereas the first place team in the group gets to like stay in their region.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
that
yeah,
way
yeah.
you're not playing the same teams from the same region, like you're still dispersing it, but at the same time, you're still, you're still getting that cross competition.
Okay. See, look at you. Look at that football brain. That's why we love having you here. You're like, I work for a club now. I see these things. You understand the logistics of all these things. And while we're at it, throwing it out, why are there 4 quarterfinal games on the same
Yeah.
night?
What the heck is that
Why?
about?
Why?
Even
Do
the
2
even the World
doubleheaders.
Cup isn't that stupid.
Do 2 doubleheaders. 2 on
Yeah.
Friday night, 2 on Saturday night.
You want no competitive advantage. Fine. Like the 2 quarterfinals that are going to play each other on one night in the semifinal, and then the 2 quarterfinals that are going to play each other on the next night in the next semifinal, and the next semifinals a day later.
Yes.
And then one team gets one extra day of rest, but you get to actually spread out all the games.
Yes, exactly.
Like, very easy.
Even now, the semis are on Tuesday and the finals on Saturday.
It's wild.
Like
They tried to like shoehorn a ton of games into like a 3-week period.
Yeah, and then immediately go right back to league play.
Yeah,
like the next week after.
Like imagine if Miami does make the final, they're gonna play the Open Cup on like Tuesday or Wednesday after the final.
Is it that soon? Really?
Yeah, it's literally next week.
Oh shoot!
Yeah, their Open Cup game is like 10 days away.
Well, I know. I think they did say for the teams that make it. I don't know. I don't remember if it was just the final and the third place game or the semis. They're gonna move their league game when they come back. So they're gonna move stuff around and just cause schedule congestion at the end of the season instead of right now. Yeah. So
but they can't move the Open Cup semifinal. So.
Oh yeah.
Why
can't they though? Well, I guess yeah. I guess
it's not their tournament. It's not MLS. It's US Soccer's.
That's true.
So sucks to suck. You're gonna play another game. Does Miami purposely lose this game? Just like we don't want to play anymore. We've played too many games.
So here's the thing: do you want to be the inaugural Leagues Cup champion, or do you want to win the Open Cup?
No. Well, both.
Well, I think in a perfect world,
in Miami's case, yeah, both, because you're the best player on the planet, and you're probably not making the playoffs, even though it would take a miraculous run. So, like, these are your 2 trophies. Like, this is your season right here. You either win or lose right now, and that's it. If you don't win them, you get nothing this year. And you spent a lot of money on Messi to get nothing. So
a whole
this is
lot.
This is cash. It. Although I guess you didn't spend a lot. MLS spent a lot, but
Apple
beside the point. Apple spent a lot.
That's beside MLS don't got that kind of money either.
Yeah. Well,
they were. Funny that you bring that up, and I don't remember if we brought this up last week or not, but there's talks now that they're going to expand the roster, and add a fourth
Yes.
DP.
Yes.
Are we cool with that?
Oh, 100%. I think that's not enough. I think you honestly like need to lift more restrictions almost.
Right.
It's like look at the Mexican teams. They have like 13 DPs. They have like
Right.
10
Like
DPs. Like it's not fair. It's not fair at all. And it's not
apparently
like
it is. They're
MLS
getting
teams.
crushed.
Well, no, they're getting crushed for the same reason that we talked about last week. Like they're on the road, they're in the preseason, blah blah blah. Like they're supposed to get crushed. But like in a fair fight, it's not fair at all. So I guess maybe that is the fair way to do it. So like have the Mexican teams play preseason on the road, and the MLS teams don't get to have real rosters, and then it's kind of a fair fight.
Parody.
Parody, perfect. That's what we're shooting for. I actually was kind of interested / surprised, not in the salary cap comments, but in the comments about like, hey, we might have other. Like we might have Brazilian teams, we might have Argentinian teams, we might have we can open this thing up. And I thought that was really cool. I don't know what the like logistics of that are. Like at some point, it's just kind of the Club World Cup. Like, you know?
Okay, but here's like, yeah, that's cool. But then what's the point of Leagues Cup if we're already gonna have Copa coming in the next years and there's gonna be MLS teams in that too? So why wouldn't they just scratch Leagues Cup and then just have Copa?
Wait, there's gonna be MLS teams in Copa Libertadores?
Yeah. What they're doing it in America.
What?
Is it 24 or 25 that it's coming?
I thought Copa America was in the US, which is the national teams.
No, is it? No, I thought it was.
I'm pretty sure it's Copa America.
Am I getting them mixed up?
I think you're gonna mix up. I think it's Copa America. I'm gonna look it up just to be
No,
sure.
because I saw someone that was talking to me that there was gonna be like all this competition from Brazil and Argentina coming over and like having this massive tournament, and then MLS teams are gonna be added. Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, if that's the case, Leagues Cup could do that. But there's no reason not to, right? Like, why not take all these like smaller-esque regions who produce a lot of quality from a young age and just have them continuously compete against each other because it's only going to make the quality that much better.
Well, because MLS is the beneficiary if they're not getting a stage ever, because like they buy the Facundo Torreses and then put them on the
pipeline.
stage, and then Europe goes, "Oh wait, that dude can play," and it's like, yeah, of course he can play.
Because we have the TV coverage.
Like, it's wild. It's also wild. Like I don't know if you saw the like there was a tweet about Messi's free kick goal, I think against Dallas, that got like 2 million views or something.
Right.
He had a similar free kick in a Liga On game for PSG, and it got like 200,000 views.
Yeah.
It's like even Messi is getting like 10 times the coverage that he used to get, like around the world, period, just from being on this massive stage in the US. Like, yes, the talent is not necessarily as good as some of the European leagues, but the stage is almost bigger. Like, there's almost like more eyeballs on it. Now, granted, that's just somewhat because it's him, but
right.
Like, that shows you. I feel like that's the only reason Mbappe is even considering like coming to the US, because he just watched Messi go from one of the greatest players of all time to like worldwide icon, like
the definition of soccer.
Yeah, like literally like Serena Williams, LeBron James level of like just like icon, not even just sports star. Just by coming over here, which is pretty wild.
Well,
I feel like he saw that and he's like, I need that.
Well, that's why I'm saying like Messi coming here is changing everything, because it's one of those things where it's not unknown that the way America does sports is bigger than anywhere else in the world. The followings, the teams, the entertainment, just the scale and like the massive like eyeballs that all these teams get. And like that's all they focus in on, right? Like, yeah, the product's cool, the sport's cool. But their focus is the outreach and how many eyeballs they can get on this product wherever it is around the world. So now with the World Cup coming, and I've been very open about this in like multiple channels where it's like the World Cup is coming here in 2026. From now on, from the moment that the World Cup happened in Qatar, you see it in commercials, advertisements, online. Like the soccer mania is here, and they're going to push it for the next 4 years because it's in everybody's best interest. All the cities, all the restaurants, all the hotels, everything in this country is going to get flooded by millions of people to go watch one of the greatest like sports events in the world. It's one of those things where everything is just coming together right now, and Messi coming here like literally lit the fuse for the next 4 years, I think if MLS lifts the salary rules, adds DPs, does whatever, we are going to have like Ricky Puig is already here. We've had the Zlatans, we've had some stars, but I feel like now more than ever, they're going to come in like massive waves, and it's going to be beautiful.
We're no Saudi Arabia though. We can't pull 7 stars in one offseason. That's a different point. But yeah, no, you're 100% right. Like the soccer mania is gonna just take over, and it's gonna be absolutely everywhere. And I don't even think it's started yet. I don't think we're that far yet. But we're gonna get Copa America. I did confirm. Copa
So does
America is
Copa.
coming in 2024 to the U.S., which is going to be wild. The last time that was here, Messi made the final and lost to Chile.
Really?
Yeah, that was in the golden generation of Chile with like Alexis Sanchez, Arturo Vidal. Yeah, all those guys. They beat him on PKs, I want to say. Yeah, that was a wild one. I think the U.S. played Argentina in the quarters of that tournament, if I'm not mistaken.
Ooh,
but yeah,
exciting.
so you're going to get that major international tournament. You're going to get FIFA World Cup in 2026. And then you're going to get the Olympics in Los Angeles, which is going to be
are we?
Soccer. I think it's 2026.
Well, that's fun. I didn't know the Olympics were coming back.
That's another like big soccer. Like, I mean, obviously it's U23, but that's another like big soccer thing.
Still an international tournament.
Right.
How long before the Champions League finals in America?
How long before they add MLS teams to the Champions League? That's my question. I honestly would not be surprised if they just like this is what I keep saying they should do is just take the Club World Cup and make that the Champions League. Like,
well, they extended it. They added teams. It's like a massive tournament now.
Right. You make it a massive tournament. You make it a big deal. You make it huge prize money, so everybody wants to play their best teams, and you put it all over the world, and that becomes the new pinnacle. Instead of having the Champions League be the pinnacle, Club World Cup's the pinnacle, which everybody has access to. So you can go to Saudi Arabia and qualify for the Club World Cup. You can go to South Korea and qualify for the Club World Cup. Like, you can go anywhere you want to in the world, and theoretically qualify for that thing. Like, that's where you get like MLS, Brazil, Argentina, Saudi Arabia, Australia, like
everything.
Some of the like minor leagues are gonna start to like really pick up steam at that point because it's actually possible for one of them to go on a run.
You know, I like that. But okay, so how much football is too much football? Like these are human beings, and they can only play so many games a year.
100%, and I think we've reached the max limit. So I don't think you can add games. That's why I think you need to take away,
kind of like mesh some of these things up, consolidate some of this stuff.
Champions League does not need to be 6 group stage games and then 7 knockout games. Like, that's 13 extra games.
Yeah,
like Champions League doesn't need to be 13 games, especially if you have that like pinnacle tournament where everybody's competing. Like, you can Champions League be like 6-7 games. And just eliminate the group stage of Champions League.
So you just want to tear it back down and build it back up.
Yeah. And Premier League, you play 38 games, bump that down to, well, I guess bumping it down would require removing teams from the league, which would be difficult to do. But you could knock out the number of cup games. Like, that wouldn't be that difficult. You could knock out the number of cups, period. That would be
the Carabao, the FA,
the Carabao Cup. So like there's ways to like reduce some of the games, and then you add the extra, couple games for the top teams.
Okay. All right. Well, you heard it here first, folks. Tear it all down and build it back up. I actually really do like that. And like do you think there's a world where we actually see that with how big, like, I mean, obviously it's already a global game, but like, I feel like it's taking I'm starting to see more just like regular like sports commentators and stuff, whether it be like NBC or ESPN, that go, there's a real possibility in a real world where soccer is the 3rd biggest sport in the world, where like it's finally even in America, where it's like by hockey, by baseball, like
not 3rd biggest sport in the world. It's already the biggest sport in the world.
Well, America is the world. That's it.
Oh, okay. The 3rd biggest sport in America.
America's the world. Everybody else comes after.
That makes more sense. No, I got you on that one.
No,
Yeah, no, I think we're definitely getting to that point and getting access to the top level, right? America doesn't care unless you're the best. That's why we care so much about Lionel Messi, because he
Right.
is the best, unequivocally, unarguably. We want to see the best. So you bring, just bring a couple, bring Messi, bring Mbappe, bring Neymar potentially, have a couple of those teams be able to fight the Chelseas, the Man Uniteds, the Real Madrids of the world. Even if they lose, 4 times out of 10, or wait, even
Right.
if they win 4 times out of 10, they can go on a one magical run every decade. That's going to keep the interest of the country. Like, we don't, we want to see the best against the best, but we also love our underdogs. So it's kind of perfect for what we want to see.
We all love a good underdog story.
But like right now, Messi playing against FC Dallas, like who cares? You know, like great, you're playing against a kid that was in college last year that was drunk at his what's it called?
Big kid beats up little kid.
Yeah, essentially.
That's it. Send tweet.
That's
But
it. Yeah.
like I know Messi's not used to being the greatest Argentine in the world, right? Because it just recently happened. Only because the real best Argentine in the world
Got
couldn't do
popped.
it. Couldn't do it
He got popped.
against Nashville. He couldn't do it against Hani Mukhtar, who is back. Maybe 3
Hani
assists and
Mukhtar
a
never
goal.
left. He never left.
Wah! He left
never.
for like the last. He left for like the last month and a half.
Hani Mukhtar never leaves. He just takes breaks.
Well,
Never
he
left.
clocked back in from his lunch break.
Clocked in. Nashville beat Club America on a maybe a questionable call, and he was like, "All right, no more questionable calls. Let's beat these guys." And boy, did they!
Like, yeah, there was a red card to DJ Taylor. Shout out to I just bought him. And...
Shout out Nashi. He knows DJ Taylor.
Oh, does he? Well, yeah, I just bought him. I don't like him anymore. But do you think that's what it was? Do you think that the close call, the questionable call to America, they were like, all right, bet we're not going to have this again. We're not going to have people talk bad on our name saying we didn't deserve this. And they came out and completely put one on Minnesota, who were, yes, down a man. But was this also a Minnesota United coming back down to earth? Or do you think it was just a blip? They were just tired. They've been on a heater.
To be fair, I think sometimes you just have one of those days where you get down 10 men. You've been winning a lot of tight games. You played a lot of games. You're just like, well, they score 1 or 2, and it's just not going to be our day. And Nashville just no mercy, just like full speed ahead. We're gonna roll up the goal differential in this knockout section. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know that it says anything really long term about either of these two teams. I think it just happened,
The only reason I question it and I bring it up because Nashville's not the type of team to do this. If it was someone like LAFC or Messi came in and just took down Minnesota, like I'd be like, all right, it happens. But Nashville's not that kind of team. They're the kind of team that sits back, they pick their spots. They don't always score a lot of goals.
They picked a lot of spots on this game.
They picked a whole lot of spots.
They've only scored 31 goals in MLS play, to be fair, and they've played 24 games. So they average just over 1 a game.
And guess
not
what?
A lot.
Surge is still just coming off the bench.
Yeah.
And he's already come in the last 2 games where he debuted and has scored and produced. Nashville finally has a striker.
I mean, dear God, let's hope they don't have a striker. Like you can't score on them already. And Hani Mukhtar is basically good for 1 goal a game. If they get somebody else that's good for 1 goal a game, they just never lose again.
And Schaffelberg continues to prove that he is him.
He might be the greatest living Canadian on the planet outside of Alphonso Davies.
I might be inclined to agree with you. I am such a big Schaffelberg stan. The only issue that I have
him so rare, but I love him.
I was going to say I hate it because he is not a for sure starter and you just never know what you're going to get. And it sucks because I love Schaffelberg, but where he is right now is just not worth the headaches and trying to figure out that rotation because he's in and out. But when he's in, he makes it happen. Even off the bench, he makes it happen. Like sometimes it's so hard not to play him, but that just like 50-50, you just can't leave it up to chance when you're trying to win in the Sorare. But I agree. Hate him and Sorare, but I am such a Schaffelberg stan.
Yeah, I mean, agree. I have no more to add to that. Are they going to beat Monterrey though? That's the question. And the answer is no.
Ooh.
They are not going to beat Monterrey.
You don't think they can beat Monterrey?
I think they can beat Monterrey, and they are at home. To be fair, and Monterrey did just play in LA, and now they got to go to Nashville, which is great.
And they turned it on late too. They left it all down on the line.
And
LAFC.
against Nashville, that's not going to work. Like if they fall down 2-0, it's just it's curtains at that point. Just forget it. I don't know. I feel like Monterrey is just going to carry the torch, though. I don't think they're going to let Liga MX.
So here's the thing. If I remember correctly, Monterrey's starting striker is hurt, and that's why Funes Mori is starting.
But Funes Mori is still really good.
No. Okay. All right. So we scored the winner. A great goal, which I've never seen him score for the national team. I will bring this up. You want to talk about Funes Mori? I got things to say about Funes Mori. Can't produce for the national team. Can knock out LAFC on any given day.
He only started for the national team at like 32, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It was a late addition. We didn't have any more strikers.
Right.
But I don't care. Why is it that I watch all those games with Mexico? He doesn't do anything. I watch this one game against
nobody
Don
else
Garber's
on
Darling.
Mexico to set him up.
Whoa.
What do you want him to do?
That is also very true. Yeah, the team's in shambles. Listen, all the good Mexican players are never on. What? No, actually, no, I don't. Which? Oh, I'm not even gonna go there. I don't. So why does all roads lead back to Messi? God,
all roads lead back to Tata.
No, I was also glad that Tata was gone. Either way, Funes Mori, not that great. Scored the winner in this game. I want Nashville to go through simply because I have a bunch of Nashville players in SOCCER, and it just gives me more utility at the end of this tournament. That's the main reason why I want Nashville to go through.
That is one thing I'll say. I've absolutely hated that half my teams are, because I pick players from bad teams, and I know I do that. Half my players have not played in like 3 weeks, and this is like the summer where Europe is off, and now Europe's back, and now they're gonna come back. I'm gonna be like, yes, I got my team back. No, I can't use them anymore. Like,
hey, don't score now.
You took a whole month of my utility for this thing and gave them like 2 games. You know, like that sucked. That part sucked. Give them some consolation games that count. You know,
right? Let the league start back up. Fuck it. Just let it kick off.
You don't have to let the league start up. Just do like, hey, we're gonna figure out who the 34th best team in Mexico / MLS is, and we're gonna have knockouts until we get to 34 teams out. Like, I don't care how you do it. You know, you gotta give me some more games. You know, it's exactly what I was talking about with the Club World Cup. We need more games.
Are we just complaining that there's too many games?
More games.
Are we saying we need to take games away?
Only from the players that I don't own. There's too many games. The players I own, I expect more.
If I don't own you in SOCCER SO5, you run yourself into the ground. I don't care.
Correct.
Or you can just buy him a fitness boost in the club shop.
That's true. Why didn't Minnesota think of that? You know, if they'd bought a few fitness boosts, they may not have lost 5-0.
Their bank blocked the ETH transaction. They couldn't afford it.
They couldn't get their cash wallet set up in time.
No, they don't accept USD till September.
True. Yeah, you're on to something there.
You know, it is what it is. But how do you think Don Garber feels right now, losing to Monterrey at the death, where it all looks fun in games? LAFC went up 2-0, and then Acosta conceded a penalty, which led to a goal, and it was all over in the last 30 minutes.
After Monterrey's complaining about how much they have to travel and how this sucks, and then they go out and beat the best team in the MLS.
What do you think Don Garber did in that moment? Do you think he fell to his knees?
I don't even think he was watching, because I think he was at the Messi press conference. I don't even think he cared, to be honest with you. I think he was cleaning Lionel's shoes getting some pins ready for autograph session after the game, and off we go. I don't even think he was watching.
He's too busy counting his stacks of bills
Yeah.
as he just like laughs. Just insert evil villain laugh as he just like watches Leagues Cup go down. Just, oh brother.
Would you
But
say
look,
this tournament's been a success or a failure?
personally, I think it was a success. I think it was great. I think it's been incredibly fun. I have been entertained. I think it was great. I think it also caused a lot of division in the fan base. I feel like you like made a lot of people happy and you pissed off a lot of people at the same time. Like here we go with the Messi thing again. I gotta bring it up again. Literally, during the Charlotte game, I was laughing so hard because the commentators were just like, "Oh, it's really weird. The crowd is really quiet here. It looks like the spectacle is gone. They finally got used to Messi like dominating the league." And I'm like, "No, Messi just priced all the real fans out." Like for me to say this as the Orlando fan, all right, I'm gonna say this once and I'm gonna say it clear. Nobody clip this. I don't need this on the internet.
Clip this. Put it on Twitter.
I feel so bad for the fans that have been there for the last few years and just watched the trash dumpster fire of a club
soccer
that they have. And
in the pouring rain every night.
In the pouring rain, and just everything in the heat.
Terrible stadium in Fort Lauderdale.
None of them
still showed up and made a lot of noise.
No. Season ticket holders didn't get priority tickets to the game and then got priced out completely. So, yeah, no one in the stands is cheering and chanting because you priced all your loyal fans. And guess what? When Messi's gone,
don't cheer and chant at baseball and football games that these people are used to going to.
No, they're just there to take selfies with Messi in the background 100 feet away. That's it. That's all they want. And guess what? When Messi's gone, you just killed your loyal fan base and nobody's coming because Messi's gone. What are you doing? But as long as Don Garber's pockets are lined and happy, that's it. I don't know. It's you're pissing a lot of people off, but at the same time, it's great for the good of the game. And we're all going to be really happy in 4 years when our league is massive.
So take that part out of the equation, right? Don't consider Miami. Assume Messi had not gotten here and this whole tournament wasn't just like the Lionel Messi unveiling. Would it have been a success if not for Lionel Messi?
I don't think people would have cared.
You think anybody would have watched?
I mean, people will watch. I don't think everybody would be talking about it as massively as they do. I think Messi coming and making it as exciting as he did made the whole tournament bigger than I think it really was. Especially being year one. I think I love the concept. I love the two leagues going at it. I mean, you get this whole tournament. I prioritized MLS versus Liga games. Like I loved it. I loved seeing the two matchups. I still like seeing the two styles of football kind of go at it and seeing where like one was better than the other and like kind of that dynamic. I don't think it would have caught on or as many people would have talked about it if it wasn't for the Messi mania that came with it.
Of course.
And I mean, like I said, not to think that I don't think this tournament would be successful, but yeah, without Messi, I don't think it would have been as hyped up as everybody made it.
Yeah. Fair enough.
What do you think?
I tend to agree.
Not
with
that you watched any of it, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't watch any of it. What is soccer? What is this? What are we talking about here?
I don't know.
Some baseball podcast.
Oh wait, you want to talk about that new update that baseball just dropped?
Oh my god, that's so terrible.
Oh, is it? Oh god.
Oh, it's so bad.
Oh god. All right. Well, we're not going to get into that because it's just so rare in the States. Football show, Leagues Cup. The semis are here. We got Philly and Miami, and we got Monterrey and Nashville. Give me the winners of these two games. Who's winning the final, and who's winning the third place trophy? Because that is important. Because 3 Champions League spots are on the line.
Messi has a 3/4 chance to get to the Champions League at this point, which is
awful.
It's just gonna happen. It's gonna happen. There's basically no way they can't make the Champions League at this point. Charlotte was our last hope. No, I told you what was gonna happen last week, and I'm sticking 100% to that because I don't watch games and I don't want to change anything. Philly over Miami, Monterrey over Nashville, Monterrey over Philly, and Miami over Nashville. Just to make sure Messi gets in the Champions Cup. Because Don Garber would never allow Messi to not make the Champions Cup. They don't have to win the whole thing, but he will not allow them to miss that.
He sacrificed LAFC so Messi could run.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Oh man.
That would be bad.
Oh, and just to save myself here, I am really not that much of a tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist. I just think it's hilarious to talk about. I don't really care that much. I love this league. I love the MLS. I'm a sicko till I die. But it's just fun to criticize and just yell obscene things at the top of my lungs like everybody on the internet does. So I just want to fit in. All right, I'm just trying to fit in.
It's so much fun as the teams to get that criticism and to not take it personally.
Yeah,
So I've been on the other side of that, and it's like, yeah, agreed. Woohoo! We love the fans.
Yay!
Yay.
It's y'all need to calm down. It's not that serious, y'all. We're all just here for a good time, not a long time. You know what I'm saying?
It's fun.
Go ahead.
I have a question.
Yes.
I'm gonna put you on the spot a little bit.
Oh crap.
Leagues Cup is almost over.
Yes.
We have 10 games left for most teams. 10 games left in the last season.
Sure.
Who is the big breakout player for the last 10 games of the MLS season / playoffs? And you cannot say Lionel Messi because he's not breaking out of anything. He's the best player that's ever been known to mankind. So can't say that.
The most breakout player in the last few games. Oh, dude, that's rough. I mean, Halongwane and Reynoso coming back from the dead has probably been the coolest thing to happen in the last few games.
Did they just get put back in the dead though?
I mean, I think we agreed it was just kind of a blip.
Yeah.
They tired. They've been on an absolute tear.
Been on a tear.
It was unfortunate that it happened when it did. But it's been I mean Vancouver's been a little washy here towards the end. Brian White has been kind of productive. Alan Polito finally healthy and figuring it out. Chicago sneakily started winning games again.
Chicago.
I don't know. I almost want to say the Reynoso and Halongwane are the only pairing that really kind of stands out. Yeah. I think that would have to be my pairing because other than that, it's been meh.
Can you explain to me how João Paulo is as cheap as he is?
Because I think people have lost faith in Seattle.
Why?
Seattle's just not the darling anymore.
They're in 4th.
Yeah, but look,
they're 1 point back of 2nd. And they always are this time of year, they always turn it on.
But are they though? Are they gonna turn it on though?
This is classic Seattle to the fit. Well, we say that every year. They always turn it on.
They didn't last year.
What are we talking about?
They didn't make the playoffs.
They did not last year. That's fair. This for the first time ever, they did not make the playoffs. Which
Rui Diaz is old.
Here.
Lodero is
old. And they need
Jordan Morris was gone.
The striker they need, but with the amount of people that they lost to Gold Cup, with the amount of oldness they have, right? They couldn't handle all of the people that left for Gold Cup. And I think they need to retool some at the end of this year. But this is still a really good team. And most of their players, most of their starters are mid-50s, 60s guys. And most of them are dirt cheap. And I don't get it.
Okay, well, let me add this kind of wrinkle into it because I've kind of been shopping a little bit because Leagues Cup is going on right now. Europe just came back. These teams aren't playing for 2 weeks. These prices, everybody is selling out to get into Europe right now. And MLS isn't playing. So the biggest division, biggest league right now that is taking a hit is MLS. There's a third of the season left. They're not playing. Nobody cares. Prices are down in the dumps. Things are getting reworked. People are worried about the future because there's just so many factors right now that MLS is in the dirt just in general. It doesn't matter whether they're good, whether they're bad. Prices are just in the dump.
Facundo Torres is $11.
Yes. The limited, right?
What?
Yeah. The market is literally in the dirt,
Right.
which is great because I've been buying a lot of rares.
I mean,
I'm moving
that's
up.
the time of year that we're in. I get it. But what? Are you kidding me?
Yes. I think Leagues Cup, where we all thought there might be like a little bump because the Leagues Cup is happening, that might have happened leading into it, but right now it completely killed the market in the middle of summer. Like it is
Right,
dead.
because you lost all that utility in the
Mhm.
prime months.
Now, is there a world where Europe started, everything got hyped, things get too expensive, people can't afford to get competitively, so they come and scoop up good MLS players to kind of tie them in towards the middle of the season when prices go down? Is a possibility that I've been kind of thinking. So there might be a little pump, little boost to the market as like the money flows through the system. But yeah, things are not looking great right now.
Are you thinking more money is coming into the system, like more onboarding?
I think
Or are
so.
you thinking
I
that's
I
why you're
think
thinking it moves up?
Yeah, so it's a steady flow of as users come on. Clearly the Premier League is here and they didn't do any marketing, which means they're going to wait until the new cards drop to really push. So new card push in the beginning of the season where prices are already a little inflated plus an influx of money. I think people are going to it almost like when people get priced out, they look for the next best thing, right? And it's going to
Yeah.
be MLS who is just coming back. Teams are fresh again. Rotation isn't as questionable because most everybody should be rested.
And it's 10 games to go and you got to make the playoffs. It's like
Yes.
you got to play your guys.
Yes. So I think that there's a world where trickle down economics kind of happens, and I'm not saying it's gonna roar back up to like insane prices, but I think there is a little bit of opportunity probably in the next few weeks where if you picked up again quality over quantity, but picked up some quality pieces, I think there could be a little bit of opportunity here in the next couple of weeks. But again, there's no real way to know how that goes. So I don't know.
I kind
Let's
of
wait
think
and
it's
see.
just more stagnant. I don't think there's, well, I mean, not that you know, not that I'm super in tune with everything right now, but I feel like it almost feels like it's just gonna like stay where it is. Like it's kind
I
of
think it's an
at
overcorrection.
bottom. It's kind of at bottom. It's gonna just kind of hang out there because you are gonna get some downward pressure as people sell out and move to Europe. And you're gonna
Which is, I
get
think, what
downward
happened.
pressure. You're gonna get downward pressure at more towards like October when teams start to get knocked out and they start to sell teams for the end of the year. You'll sell teams a couple games before the end because you don't want to, like, for whatever reason, psychologically, people can't handle just holding their cards to the end and selling at the end. Like they always want to like beat the curve, but the curve is like 4 games ahead of the end anyway. So you're
Right.
never ever beating the curve. You're always in the curve, which makes no sense. Just hold to the end and you'll get like you should get a little bump up. But yeah, anyway, I think it kind of stagnates and then you just start to see like normal offseason rise as eventually. So I feel like you almost like are better off buying now because you get 10 games of utility and you're not paying a cheaper price in like you're not getting a cheaper price in 2 months.
You're gonna get
The
the same price you got right now.
exactly.
You're
Like
yeah.
you're not paying less than you are right now to hold for the offseason. Like just go ahead and buy your offseason team. There's no point in not. And then you get to play them for a third of the season now.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm doing right now because that's where I'm stuck too, where I'm I'm in a transition point in my gallery, right? Where I have some top end limiteds in the MLS, like America region, and like now I'm trying to like slowly creep my way into rare. And it's like, do I want to let all these trash limiteds go for obviously a really low price, but
Yeah.
collectively put that into rares, which gives me more opportunity cost down the road, and a rare rising is going to return me a little bit more than a limited is rising. So it's like, am I taking a loss in the short term, which I can make back on the other side? Like, yes, but it's
You're
like,
not even taking a loss. You have to look at it
well,
as
yeah,
small
because the rares
numbers.
are also down and like the
Right. You have to
multiple
look
and
at
it's
it
the
as
same.
percentages, right? Like right now, whatever it is, limited is 8 times less than rare. Great. If in the preseason limited is 6 times less than rare, then you should have held to the preseason, sold, and then bought your rares then. If limited goes to 10 times less than rares, then sell your limiteds now, buy rares, and you will be able to buy more than you will if you sold your limiteds at 10 times lower. So it's more of like the relationship between the two as opposed to like where the market is in general. Like the market's down for everything, unless there's some reason why like the limited market specifically is down or the rare market specifically is down. That's where you get like differences, but it should just be relationship. It should just be like, hey, this is 6x, hey, this is 10x, hey, this is 8x.
Yes, but that's the hard part though, where it's hard. Like
Right,
when
there's
you
no
look
right
at
answer.
it, it's hard
Yeah.
to like actually physically be like, oh, I'm taking this loss, but it's okay because I know on the other side it
Yeah.
evens itself out. But it's just like so hard. It's like I'm letting 10 crap limited cards go for one rare, and it's like it just doesn't visually make sense. But when you like crunch the numbers, it's like, okay, well, it ends up being the same thing anyway,
think
if not
about-
more.
Think
And
about
it's like,
when like those crap limiteds, are they ever going to move off of crap?
no,
You know,
that's another
like,
thing.
They're always they're almost, you almost think of it as like they're lower or they're higher than what their floor should be because everything is down. But like you can't fall past like 0. So like they're basically 0. They can't fall lower. So like they would fall lower if they could, but like they can't, you know?
So they won't.
So it's like right now they're six times cheaper than rares because the rare price is so close to it. Whereas when the rare price goes up, the limited's going to stay the same. So then they're going to be 8 times, you know? So it's almost like an artificial floor. Like you can't go past 0, and that like actually influences the market, which you have to consider.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, it's just tough to like it's tough to rip off the Band-Aid sometimes, but it must be done.
Yeah.
It's just it's a little traumatizing sometimes. You're like, oh, I know how much I paid for this, and it's just like,
I
but
don't even look at
sometimes
what
you
I
gotta let
pay
it go.
for stuff.
I don't anymore. I used to a little bit more. Now I'm like, what do I have? What is this gonna bring me, and what can I turn this into? Is basically
Right.
how I'm looking at it. Like right now, like I'm just accumulating rewards and just
Yeah.
using them as like trade tickets, almost just like pawning them off, and then just like whatever, using it to get what I really want. So whatever, every couple of weeks, whatever rewards I got, I just dump them and buy what I really want or what I need. So
Exactly.
we
Some
ball.
of the price that you lose on what you bought that you wanted, you're making up for in rewards that you're selling.
Mhm.
You know, so it's not 1-to-1. Like, can't even buying a card at $10 and holding it for a year and then selling it at $10 is like a huge, massive increase. Assuming that you were able to use that card.
Yep, and get thresholds and cards and all that
Right.
stuff. So
Right. If you
which all
have
means
100,000 cards like I do and don't use all of your cards every week, then it doesn't matter and you're wasting your money. But that's beside the point.
yeah, that's also. I feel like I have too many cards now, and I'm just like, I need.
100%.
It's like I am tired of looking at like a large number, and I'm like, I'm not getting anything back from 70% of these. Like, why do I even have them?
But some of them are in collections now. So like you're indirectly, even though you're not playing them, you're like adding bonuses to other things that you're playing. It's like you are actually getting something back from those, you know?
Well, not all of them.
Which is like
not all of them.
pyramid
Some of
schemes.
them, yeah.
So rare.
Some of them for sure, but not all of them. I don't really. I care about collections, and I don't because I don't actually focus. Like they influence my purchases. When I'm going to make a purchase, I'm like, okay, like
I need this year.
which season do I want to
Yeah.
get, right? Based on what I do have.
Right.
But I don't go like, oh, I just bought this, Carlos Hill. I need to go out and buy like all these like revolution
Oh, I
cards, like boost it. Like I don't think about it. I know I probably should, but I don't like think about it.
So funny story. I bought a Roman Celentano when he was like the greatest U23 goalkeeper of all time, and then literally went out and bought 20 Cincinnati cards to boost him 4%, and now he's completely useless. And it's like, well, at least I got all those other 4%ers on all the other Cincinnati guys, so I guess that's
Hey.
okay.
And Wobodo, Acosta, there's some pieces.
I didn't buy
Brandon?
those guys.
No, you didn't buy the good ones. You bought the crap.
I didn't buy Vasquez. I did buy
You bought 20
Barrial, though.
cards for $5. Is what you're saying.
Correct. Yeah. No, but
Gotcha.
I did buy Barrial though. That's the only one that I use on a consistent
Baller.
basis.
What a baller.
Yeah, love that.
Quick question on that though. What's Celentano's like status? Is he up for a move? Is he going to stay for a little bit? Like, what do you have one, so you follow him a little bit more than I do?
No idea.
No idea. All right, good talk.
I
Love this
honestly
show.
was on the con train for how long? Like you guys
That's
that
true.
listen to the show
That's true. Yep.
know that I was on the con train, and I was like, Con's really good. Like Celentano's also really good, but he's not ready yet. And then you sucked me into this Celentano train, and now it's back to Khan. Like, this is my problem with goalkeepers. This is what happens. I know the right answer, and then I'm like, well, he's been that way for a year. He must be the starter. Well, apparently not. Apparently that's not how things work. So
It's like the whole
great.
Colorado situation where
Cool.
with Yarborough,
Oh,
where
yeah,
like
sure.
they brought in a goalkeeper and then he just still started.
And
Like,
he's
almost the entire year.
ridiculously cheap this whole season. And I've been trying to get out of him this whole season, but I can't because he's so cheap. But he's just like balling. Like he's like a 53 average. And I'm like, I guess I'll just use him then. Like, what am I gonna do? Like,
I hate it.
there's like no risk
because
because he's so cheap that it's crazy. This is a crazy game.
Well, that's my thing. Like now that I'm moving up to rares, like the biggest thing has obviously been my goalkeeper. It's like, yeah, I could buy outfield players, and that's no problem.
Right.
But like getting a goalkeeper and like it's such a large price and such a big commitment to where it's like, oh god, like now I gotta stick with this keeper for a while, right? And it's just like, which one do I want? And there's no keeper situation that I'm
Nobody's
comfortable
safe.
with except
Nobody's
for
safe.
Gayese. So I'm just like,
He's not.
I was
even
trying.
safe.
He's a little safer than
The
most.
second that he's safe, the second you think you're safe, you're not safe.
I know that's the problem, but it's like it's the only one that I feel okay with because I know his situation a little bit more. So I'm like, all right, I guess Gayese rare it is, and it's just like, here I go in this hole again. And
so, one last topic here before you wrap things up.
Yeah.
I did something today because I won. I think it was second in baseball in Super Rare Pro, so I got a big like ETH windfall, right? So I'm sitting on all this ETH. I'm like, what am I gonna do? Yeah, sure, 1,000% interest rate. Sitting on all this ETH, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do something. So I was like, what do I want to do? I don't need anything else in baseball. Good there. I don't want to buy in Europe, right? Because it's so expensive, and I already set European teams. Like I was already prepared.
Okay.
I don't really want to buy MLS cards at this point, sort of. But like at the same time, I do because they're kind of so cheap. So what I ended up settling on was going through and getting very, very cheap guys that I know have talent or at some point have been worth something that are like completely dirt cheap bottom, like they cannot drop anymore. Mm-hmm. So like the guys that are like 0.00005 ETH.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yes.
I was like, I'm probably not going to find much.
There's a lot.
Boy, was I wrong. I bought 1, 2, 3, 4. I bought 4 pages worth of guys on Sorare data. So here's what I got.
Like rare or limited? Limited. All right.
Yeah. And I might do this with rare too if I can find a few deals because I still have a ton of ETH left. Io Akinola.
Ooh, just moved. Could be spicy.
He's been in the U.S. national team fringe. Like I'm literally betting nothing on this
until he gets hurt again. But yeah, you're betting for him not to get hurt is what you're doing.
But like, I'm not betting anything. Like, if he doesn't get hurt and he scores goals and his price goes up, great. If he doesn't, I'll just own an Io Akinola for the next 20 years, and that's fine.
I like it.
Like, he's 22 years old, so like he's got a potentially like 10-year career.
That's a promising player.
At some point in the next 10 years, he's probably going to be worth more than zero. You know. So like that's what I did. All these guys are U23. Josh Atencio from Seattle.
Okay. Yep.
You know, Ralph Priso from Colorado now. Benji Kikanovich, San Jose.
Still holding that one.
Solid. George Campbell from Montreal. The future Miles Robinson. Brian Galvin in Colorado. Chinoso 04. Chicago.
You think Colorado's going to turn it around, huh?
Or in Montreal now. Thor Ulfarsson.
Ooh, I want him as a award.
Cole Bassett.
Okay.
I was really surprised Cole Bassett was this cheap. Jairo Torres, Chicago. Carlos Tehran in Chicago. Santiago Moreno. Santiago Moreno. I paid a little bit more for Santiago Moreno, but I was like, he's got actual potential, and I think he's actually good. And I already had one limited, but I got a different year. And that's the other thing. I got one of each year for these guys.
Ooh.
So I'm like, I'm playing the collection game, but I'm also
I'm
also investing. And then I got a few Jack Mahers and a Quinn Sullivan.
Love Jack Maher.
Yeah.
Not recently, though.
Yeah. Well, he's been hurt.
I know. I haven't been able to tell. Like, it's like I hear that he's back, and I'm like, yeah, and I play him, and then he doesn't. And then I sat him the last game.
Yeah.
And he
eventually he will be back.
Yeah,
And
eventually.
Eventually,
Well, I
we'll
also
get
want
there.
a Lovitz. I want a Lovitz reward. So I've had a Willis, which shout out to Joe Willis, had
Get
some
a
family issues
Zimmerman.
and killed my lineup. I don't
Zimmerman's
want a
super
Zimmerman.
cheap.
I don't want a Zimmerman.
He's so cheap though for what he could do.
I guess. I don't know. My thing is like
Like $5.
I feel like everybody has a Zimmerman, so I don't want one. When I can get Maher and or sometimes Lovitz, who kind of almost do the same thing. So it's like it's a little bit of a differential for me, is the way I
guess you
look
gotta
at it.
get
And
gotta
Maher's
check
a little bit
back.
younger too, so
right.
but shout out to Dax McCarty, who is having a resurgence really late in his career, having an incredibly solid
You
like
say resurgence, but he's
240
always
season.
been good.
Yeah, well, last year he was a little kind of on the fringe. He had a little rough time last year.
That's because they had a lot of midfielders last year.
Yeah. So he stepped back up and he's really taken that role. He even looks good too. He looks healthy this year. Like he looks healthier than he
You
has
got
in
a
the last
little
couple
crush
years.
on him.
Yeah, maybe. Well, he
Looks
actually has a new
good.
podcast, a little like MLS Journeyman. He has a podcast with a couple other guys. Incredible content. If you guys not check that out, great podcast.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored,
They're
but
not paying
great
us.
podcast. Yeah. And maybe I have a little affinity for Dax McCarty now, who is an MLS legend. Okay, all right.
Oh,
Can
yeah.
we be real? Like 100% MLS Journeyman.
It's him
That's
and
the
Brooke
podcast.
Shea. Those are the two legends.
Let's go, Brooke Shea.
If you know, you know.
Let's go, Brooke Shea. Let's go, Brooke Shea. Anyway, this episode has gone on long enough. I am tired. I gotta get this thing posted and go to sleep. Chris, love talking to you. Is there anything else you want to let these people know before we go?
Pittsburgh Riverhounds, 4 points clear at the top now. No more games in hand for the team behind us.
Let's go.
We are cruising for a bruising. 3-hour lightning delay doesn't matter. Still got the 2-0 win.
Don't care. Sounds
Don't
like
care.
y'all should be a Florida team. We do better in the swamp. We do better in the rain.
Yeah.
Anytime it rains, we get like superpowers. It's great. It's awesome.
Activate Florida mode.
Swamp Daddy strikes again. Let's go.
Oh, I'm surprised you guys don't have like gators running across the field during the game.
No, that's just outside the stadium.
Yeah.
Trust me. There's
Fair.
gators everywhere. I was riding my bike once. It was dark. Didn't even see him. Fucking snapped at my goddamn tires. I was like, what the hell is this gator like hanging out on the side of the sidewalk? What the hell? Welcome to Florida.
You like run over an alligator. You can't get away.
Trust me, man. You see it all down here. I love Florida. But that's it. Love y'all. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff that influencers say. Share. Where's your sauce?